I really don't think we hate one another. Let's not allow our leaders make us believe that we hate one another. We really don't hate one another. I mean, we have a lot of sociopaths, people who have run mad for whatever reason, who are killing people all over the place, but near them will be some Yoruba person, some Igbo person who are relating perfectly like brothers and sisters. Let's not keep singing that song that we hate one another. We really don't hate one another. It is our leaders that have done this to us. Successive rogue leaders have done this to us. And rather than the people recognizing who their enemies are, they turn to one another. We really don't hate one another. We have children who have been deprived, children who grew up on the streets and have no morals, children who have never seen the love of a father or the love of a mother, children who have no sense of country because the country has not been of any use to them, children who have no business about Nigeria. There's no difference for them whether they are Nigerian or Ghanaian or Nigerian or Chadians, because the government has done nothing for them. They have no sense of what is called patriotism. Now, when they begin to kill and destroy, then we now turn it around that we hate one another. We don't hate one another. How many of you here hate the next person you are seeing? How many of you here? Because when you talk about we hate one another, if I turn and ask you, who do you hate here? You will say nobody. We don't hate one another. Because even as people are dying and so on and so forth, people are supporting and helping one another every day. So let's not buy that lie that our leaders are telling us. It is leadership that has failed. We don't have mutual hatred for one another. Leadership has failed. People are living jungle lives. In the jungle, what do you get? Cheating and killing and stealing and so on and so forth. A lot of things, I mean, just as they say, we are all very corrupt. We are all very corrupt. The system is such that you can hardly get anything through the right door. And so if you are driving a jalopy, a tokumbo or whatever, and then the police stops you with a gun, and you say the person is corrupt for giving 500 naira so that he can pass, is that really corruption or extortion? I mean, we really need to, because at the end of the day, we know we have a history of people being wasted for not agreeing to give. People being wasted. All that NSAS protest was about that. So under such circumstances, do we call the poor guy who has his kabu-kabu on the road and trying to make ends meet when they cannot get government cannot provide opportunities for employment? That guy gives 500 naira to that policeman so that he can save his life and his family life. Then you say, oh, we are all very corrupt. It is our leaders that have put us in this. What's the difference between Nigerians and Ghanaians, if not leadership? What's the difference? We are one people, if not leadership. We have had leadership failure, and the consequences of leadership failure are enormous. And we all Nigerians must recognize it so that we take leadership seriously. The consequences of leadership failure are enormous. We read in Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2, when the wicked rule, the people groan. When the wicked rule, the people groan, but when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. So leadership is a grave responsibility and not a charlatan. We shouldn't allow charlatans to hold leadership. We shouldn't allow people who have no business in leadership. But here and there at various levels in this country, we have people who have no business being in leadership, are in leadership, and they are destroying us, and they are knocking our heads together, and we are agreeing that we hate each other. I don't hate any Nigerian. If you do, tell me. No. I don't hate anybody. No. We don't hate one another. The people carrying out all these things, whether in the north or west or east or west or south, how well are they? Have they been brought up properly? How many of them have the kind of mother that brought you up? How many of them have that kind of mother or the kind of father? The father I grew up with, up for 17 years, who sits down with me and chats with me, a lot of the proverbs I say in this church, I heard from my father. And that tells you the amount of time I spent with my father. How many of those people had had a 1 hour in a year with their father, sitting down and chatting and discussing life. So what we have are sociopaths, crazy people, mad people that are destroying and killing and kidnapping. They are not people whose senses are correct. So do we use hate? If you see a madman behaving on the street and stoning people, do you say he hates people? What do you say? He's a sick man. So we have millions of sick people that need treatment, including hundreds or thousands of so-called leaders who are sick and they need treatment. I hope you know that it has been said, and we said it in our reflection. Professor Zamani and I and others have said, if a lot of the people who are running our affairs from local government level to national level, if they go through psychological tests, many of them will fail. Many are not well. Even the primitive accusation, the monumental corruption in this country, do you think people who are well can be gathering what their grandchildren cannot consume? People who are well will take the little resources of Nigeria to go and build houses in Dubai? Do you think that people who are well will carry the little resources of poor Nigeria, go to America, go to the UK, go to Dubai to buy properties, and come back here to harvest the money? Do you think that people who are well will do that? So please change your vocabulary. Find something else to say. It is, we do not hate one another.